What is up, YouTube? On our journey through Smogon Tears, today we should arrive to the land of NU. But since I don't have any NU games backed up, instead let me introduce you to bring whatever you want as long as it's not Uber tier or just Staff tier for short. This battle was against Dallasboi1992, and as you can see, our definition of Staff quite differs, since he brought Staff joined with some major threats, whereas I brought Staff joined with Staff. Surprisingly though, it turned out to be a close game, so let's see how it went down. I lead off with Laser, a counter mirror called Marshtomp, one of my mad ideas, because against this particular team I don't see a lot of chances for this combo to work, so I just want to do some damage to his team with a waterfall. Meanwhile he leads off with Xatu, and knowing that because of a magic guard I will most likely just go for a waterfall in that scenario, makes a good play and U-turns to Blastoise to take it. That on the other hand allows me to toxic this thing and significantly cut its survivability, but he has the same thought process and decides to toxic me as well. Then we exchange a Scald for a waterfall, and it becomes clear that this situation isn't favorable for me. Despite that though, I decide to stay in and go for a Mirror Coat predicting another Scald, but he switches back to Xatu instead. Knowing that he has U-turn and that many Xatus have Nightshade, I decide to save my Marshtomp in case I will get a chance to set up rocks later and switch to Togetic to take either of these. He U-turns out again and this time brings his Ditto to scout my moveset. However, I use that situation in my favor, and because Togetic is my own offensive Nasty Plot build with Hyper Voice and a Shadow Ball as a coverage moves, I know that he will switch to Aggron to take either of these, hence I make a double switch to Lunaton to wreck him with Hidden Power fighting. The only problem is, my Hidden Power turns out to be Rock instead of fighting, and even though it still does quite a bit for a resisted hit, it's nowhere close being a one-hit KO. He is able to set up an Autotomize and take me out on the next turn with an Aqua Tail. Fortunately, Marshtomp is still around, takes an Earthquake like a champ, and because he is life orbed, Waterfall is enough to revenge kill him. After a toxic damage I'm down to just 5 HP, and he tries to use that to get a Wurmple kill, but I don't let him get that satisfaction and switch to Foot Pinch, also known as Dick Pinch Jr. to take a Backbite. I set up a Stealth Rock as he goes back to Blastoise, and then, knowing that he will most likely Rapid Spin them right away, I stay in and go for a Rock Blast to see how much it does. I get only 2 hits off and he takes it with ease, so I decide to Death Fodder my Marshtomp and go back to Togetic, because now that his Aggron is dead, I'm free to set up a Nasty Plot and notably dent his team. He switches to Xatu again and Thunder Waves me, but I don't really mind that since my Togetic is fully invested in HP and special attack, so it won't be outspeeding anything anyway. I go for a Hyper Voice rather than Shadow Ball predicting a switch, but he stays in and goes for a Heat Wave. With a good natural bulk and Eviolite it doesn't do much, whereas plus 2 Hyper Voice is an easy to hit KO, so he decides to U-turn out to the biggest threat of his team, Keldeo. I rushed off to full on his switch predicting another Heat Wave, which was another bad play on my side, because had I gone for another Hyper Voice on his switch, his Keldeo would only get 1 Hydro Pump off and go down. But because I gave him a free switch, I'm able to do only around 60% to him, and he takes me out with 2 Hydro Pumps. By the amount I took from Hydro Pump, I'm guessing that he is Choice Scarf, so I bring my Shadinja to get a free turn right there. But because his Ditto is still around, I feel like it's too early to set up Swords Dance yet, so instead I go for a Shadow Sneak and get a revenge kill on his Xatu. Now back comes Blastoise, obviously trying to toxic me, so I bring my Magnemite to prevent that. I go for a Charge Beam on his switch to Ditto, get a special attack boost and a crit, which actually may have mattered because after a boost, Thunderbolt takes him out in 1 hit from this range, and I don't know if that will be the case without Charge Beam crit. Anyway, now he brings his Keldeo back, so I switch to Shadinja again to take a Hydro Pump, but instead he goes for a super effective Hidden Power and activates my Focus Sash, so right now I'm thinking, oh dear, HP Fire, I am so done. I switch to Anorith as a Death Fodder, and the fact that his Hidden Power is neutral against a Rock and a Back type only confirms my suspicions about it being a Fire type, so I'm like, yeah, that's a GG right there. But if you notice the length of this video, you already know that it didn't end just like that, and that's because his Hidden Power turned out not to be Fire, but a Flying type, and Magnemite with 4 times resistance is able to take it, take him out with a Thunderbolt and put me back in this game. So now he told me, come on, you can't run away from a Wurmple twice, and I'm like, alright, if you manage to take a T-Bolt then you got yourself a Wurmple kill and you can feel accomplished as a Pokemon player. Funnily enough, in the end he doesn't even have to take a Thunderbolt, because he's running a Choice Scarf Wurmple, you know, for that late game Backbite sweeps, outspeeds me, bites my floating magnets a few times, and that somehow takes my Felix out. So there you go, that's how you get a Wurmple kill. Anyway, now I'm down to my Shadinja, and once again I get a free turn, so this time I set up a Swords Dance on his switch to Blastoise. Then I protect once just to get a bit of toxic damage, and now if only X-Scissor will be enough to take out his Black Blastoise, aka hit that power button, I've got the game. But once again I get surprised, because even a turtle outspeeds my Shedinja just by a few points, toxics me before I take him out, and I go down on the same turn, so if only a Wurmple still standing on his side of the field, he takes the game. Great game, Dallas Boy. Looking at the team preview, I never expected it to be that close, but that's the beauty of this stuff here, the fact that just like in PU, you can never predict the result. So I hope you guys enjoyed, in which case don't forget to reward me with a like or comment. Also, using the occasion, I wish you all a wonderful Christmas, Happy New Year, even though I will probably fit one more battle in 2012, and as always, I see you all next time.